Wow, what it is, man. Welcome back to another episode of the Stick to the Code podcast. You got your boy Ayo right here, and you already know what we doing. We talking tech, kicking culture. Man, I ain't gonna even lie with y'all starting this episode right here off. I was really, this was a hard episode for me a little bit because it was just like, if you know, Apple had an event going on this week. It had WWDC going on, and I was like really wondering, WWDC on Monday, podcast drop on Tuesday. Am I gonna have time to plan it out, make sure everything legit and ready? Or should I just go ahead and record it in advance and just do another episode a week late? Or go ahead and make sure I get the WWDC content in for it? And I was like, fuck it. We're gonna be up late on Monday, so I decided to go ahead and make sure I talk about the Apple event for y'all this week. So push back some other stuff. And this week, today, what you finna hear is a whole lot of Apple news and events, because they unveil some good products, some good software things. A lot of stuff happening with Apple going on. So you already know, man. I'm gonna dive into it, let y'all know what I thought was interesting. And shit, ain't really too much to hold back. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Like I said, man, Apple just had the WWDC, which is the Worldwide Developers Conference they have every year. And for most people, if you're not heavily into tech, it's probably not something you're paying attention to. So for the people who ain't really overly into the technical side of tech and more just the consumer side, let me kind of break down the interesting things that I feel like they talked about and the things that you might want to be looking forward to, especially if you're an Apple user, have iPhones, anything like that. I always feel like Apple the type of company that's just kind of like pushing forward, just in general, regardless, like whatever you're feeling like. Apple always doing dope shit just in tech to me in general. So if Apple do something dope in tech, it's going to something to just kind of carry over to regardless. So if you got an Android, a Samsung phone, Google Pixel, OnePlus, whatever, Surface laptop, whatever you got, Apple going to kind of transition because they kind of move the market a lot of times. So one of the first things, obviously Apple, iPhone, huge. So one of the things that they kind of kicked it out talking about was the lock screens. And it was just kind of like some subtle changes. It wasn't nothing too major, nothing like that. But they did kind of make some changes that I think was kind of cool. Like one of the things I noticed looking into it is like with your lock screen, the picture you can kind of have on there. It was kind of dope. Like if you kind of got like, you got people with family, kids and stuff. I personally don't have anybody or any people on my lock screen. That's not my vibe. But I know a lot of people do it. And so it's kind of cool. They have it like that. And they had like little folks with their kids and stuff on there. A lot of them had like a couple kids. The photos they show, and like if you have somebody in there, it can kind of pick up the difference between the background and the foreground, and can kind of have it to where the people look like they standing in front of like the numbers and stuff on there. It's something slight, like I said, but I feel like it was kind of something cool. Just always them little bit of touches to just kind of make stuff feel a little bit less like you're dealing with a machine all the time, and I feel like that was cool. Also with the lock screen, Apple got like notification updates to a point of where like. I don't use an Apple iPhone, but like anytime I look at somebody's notification screen and they like little spread, it's just like stupid long. It's messy as hell. It's even after they changed this and stuff a little while back, it still just be messy. So they made some changes to kind of make it a little bit less messy on there. So you can have like your notifications, a lot of stuff, you can kind of have it blocked in together. They have it to where if you're on a lock screen, instead of having it at the top, taking up most of the screen where you can't see your pictures and other information that you want to see, it's going to be coming in from the bottom and it's just going to be blocked in there. I feel like that was kind of cool because you don't really want to have too much messing up your screen. So that was cool, legit what Apple did right there. And they got live activity. So if you're watching something like you calling an Uber and you don't feel like every few minutes checking your Uber app or whatever, it can have a little thing down there to let you know like, okay, the person is this close or whatever. Or if you watching the game, like obviously NBA finals going on right now, you want to see what it's looking like and you ain't watching the game, you can have a little ticker going through there, see what the score looking like every minute, who got possession, who up. So I feel like that's kind of dope what they doing right there. Just little snaps to where you ain't got to be crazy into your phone, but you get the little information you want to. So I was pretty legit where Apple got going. Other dope things, to me, like one of the dopest things, which is kind of really, was iMessages, which really to me kind of just lets you know iMessages is default on an iPhone, but it's really not like a text message. That is not text messaging at all, because they didn't introduce something that Twitter is having so much trouble trying to get out to people and how to do it. The ability to edit and undo a message. So that mean now you got people who finna be finessing you in your messages, but sometimes you might send the wrong message or you might mistype something. Somebody ain't read it yet. You got the read receipts. You like, ah, shit, hold on, let me fix that real quick. Or you fucked around and typed the super wrong message to your mom or something like that. You can go change that up, edit it. You got like a 15-minute window after you send it to where you can go edit it or delete a message that you done sent to the point of where the person you sent it to, you can take it off of their phone, which is kind of like, what you get if you're dealing with like you DMing somebody on Twitter, Instagram or something like that, to where you can delete the messages. So I feel like that's something cool. Hopefully Google gets something like that with Android messages, but we finna stay on Apple today because Apple got a lot. I got a lot of shit I'm finna tell y'all about going on with Apple today. What else we got going? Another cool thing to me, and this just might be me. Like when I seen it, I was like, that shit kind of dope. Like I don't know. To y'all, it might be like, it ain't nothing major. To me, it was dope as hell. So they had it to like you take a photo or something, like you take a picture of your dog, or your kids, or something like that, and it's just like mostly like a blank background. They got it to where you can take a photo, and if you like hold down on it, it can kind of select the subject, so it can like hold down on a picture of a baby or a dog. The one they used was a dog, but like so you can just copy and paste it to something, and it'll just be the outline of that. Like you just got a transparent background. Because I know I work with a lot of graphics and stuff like that, to where I be wanting to like delete the background out easy. The fact that they got that working that smooth on just your phone, to me that was cool as hell. Like most people probably be looking at that like, okay, why do I need to do that? Look, I don't know what situation you gonna need to use that shit in. I just know it look cool to me. And hey man, let me know if y'all think that's something cool as well. Like take a look at it. I'm gonna try to on this use if you're watching the video version, I'm gonna try to see if I can drop the image or the recording from like what they use for Apple, where they kind of like selected the dog and like put it into the text messages and then just kind of selected it around, took like the background out. To me, it was real cool. So let me know what y'all think of it. Drop a comment. Let me know how y'all feeling about that. But that was something real cool to me. Another thing, Apple Wallet, you got your digital keys. So sometimes if you're like in a hotel or something like that, or if you got like smart devices connecting your home, you can kind of share your key with somebody else. So like if you just need to have somebody have a temporary key, something you can do is just like send them a key. So they kind of updated ways so where you can easily share a key with somebody, even if they don't have an iPhone, even if they're not in the Apple ecosystem, which I think is something really cool because a lot of times that's a big thing with Apple. You like in this walled garden, they like, hey, look, don't be rocking with nobody. Don't have no friends with Androids. Your friends can't have no Windows laptops. Look, it's all Apple everything. And I feel like it was cool that they trying to do things to where you don't have to have an iPhone or you don't have to be in the Apple ecosystem sometimes to still take advantage of some of the dope shit they do. Because even though I'm not a crazy Apple user, I still think everything Apple do is a lot of times dope as hell because it's a company that's pushing the technology world in whether small ways, big ways. Everybody kind of following them. So I always respect when they do something that's dope to where you don't have to have an Apple device to get it. Now, me personally, again, I want to see it be able to kind of get digital keys across the board, but Apple being able to have, like I said, like your hotel, transit cards, which whatever kind of things, primarily is with, I think, like the hotel cards or with the home keys or something like that for your smart home, being able to send the key to somebody in an easy way. That's kind of dope what they got. One thing Apple announced that I think is dope, but I'm like, I don't really like that y'all announced that because that's just another reason for my girl to try to spend money. Like, it's cool. Apple got this Apple Pay Later. And if like with a lot of apps, if you buying on them, it's a big thing that's just pretty much on all apps nowadays. Whenever you checking out, they got the option of where you can pay it in installments instead of paying it all at one time, which is good, but it's also another incentive to make you feel like you can always just buy something like, it's cool. I can pay it over 4 times. I got a month to pay it instead of paying it right now. Bad. Man, that can really get you messed up. So you got to really balance that out. And so Apple now pretty much anywhere that Apple Pay is accepted, which is growing to be damn near everywhere. If it's like a decent business or a new enough business, they for sure taking Apple Pay, especially with the pandemic and stuff like that. They almost automatic with Apple Pay. So without them having to get any kind of update or something, if you can buy it from a place in person or online, Apple gonna have the option to where you can do an Apple Pay. So something costs $150, you can do an installment plan to it with Apple Pay Later, and you ain't got to do nothing with the purchase or whatever, the place you're buying it from. You just do it from your app. You legit, you going, bam. Oh shit, I want to get them. Buy that. You just put that $50 down or something like that, whatever the installment is over I think it's every 2 weeks once you have it, up to like 6 weeks or something. But that's pretty dope right there. But again, in my mind, one of my biggest things is I hope my girl don't be like, oh yeah, come on, babe. Like, let me go ahead and buy. No, we don't need to be buying stuff just because Apple giving you another reason to spend money. Chill out, calm down. But yeah, that's something real cool that Apple got going. I always love when companies doing something like that. Apple Maps, which just got another update. Apple Maps, to me, Google Maps is better than Apple Maps, but Apple Maps does, like, from some visual standpoints, they do some stuff that make it look good. Like, just the environment around on the Apple Maps, it kind of is a lot more intuitive. It had a lot more displays, a lot more visual from a 3D standpoint when you're going through it. So I think that's something that's cool that Apple did. And they kind of announced they had like more cities to where they're going to have like the actual displays. So like one of the things they showed was like Randy's Donuts. I don't know where that's at, whether it's like a Vegas thing or something like that. But you can actually see on the Apple map, and not like a picture version of it, but just like a 3D render when you're driving down or whatever, using your map for driving. That's something cool that they got going. I like how that look. And it's something, like I said, again, it's something just real slight, but like kind of cities like Vegas or something where, you know, you have so many just tourist attractions and people want to just kind of see that. And sometimes you can't get the image by image view that looks the same as how you want it to be. So being able to have it easily to where you can distinguish something, because sometimes when you're using a driving app or using a map, whether it's Google Map or Apple Map, sometimes you don't really know exactly where you at or exactly what the building look like. So for it to have it on there and it show you like, hey, look, ain't no question about it, this building look like this and you can see it, I think that's something real dope that they're doing that makes it a whole lot more, lot easier for a driver, or whether you walking or biking or whatever, just to kind of get around and know for sure you exactly looking at what you want to. Because sometimes buildings be ducked off and you don't know what it is. It's like, oh, it's around the corner, around the back. It's building 1AB. Like, man, y'all are doing too much. Where's the address? What happened to just 1, 2, 3 address? Why you got letters and half numbers and stuff like that? So yeah, that's cool that Apple got that. What was crazy to me, and this could just me again, like, look, I'm just gonna give y'all me and what I thought when I was watching the WWDC. When I seen, I don't know exactly what his role, but I know he one of the executives at Apple, the dude Craig Federighi. You know, he was up in there decked out in his little pride jumper suit. I was like, all right, okay, bro, I see you with the ball in there. Let's see what you finna do. Man, bro shot a shot. You know, it was all 3D effect and all that stuff, but bro shot that joint. He did that thing like, whoop. I'm like, bruh, that wasn't like, it wasn't the worst for him, but the way he shot it, it was like he was trying to throw the ball. Like, I don't know. Like I say, I'm going to try to add it in the YouTube video version, but you see it like he just threw the ball forward. It ain't even like a jump shot. He just slung the joint. So that was just crazy to me. That ain't really even got nothing to do with nothing Apple announced. That was just something on the video that just was like, that just stood out to me. It was just like, all right, bro. I see y'all trying to be a little cool right here, slide something in here, pride money and all that stuff, but you just slung that damn ball. With that right there, what else Apple got going? Apple had, for me, another thing kind of with my relationship, we be heavy on like having shared albums. So something that Apple added was the ability to kind of just have like a family shared albums. Cause you know, a lot of times you have like family networks and you share a lot of the same things. So whether it's a spouse, kids, or whatever you may have it, you want to easily be able to kind of share photos. So if you're taking photos, you don't want to have to send it to the group or share it all the time or have to do the work. So they got a little joint set up to where they'll automatically add photos to the group chat. Well, not group chat, but just the group photo album. And I think that's something cool to kind of have an automatic sharing photo album to where you can kind of always be automatically adding it. So sometimes if you just around the same people who in that family group, it'll share it to them so where they can see the photos. And I feel like just something like that to always kind of like keep the family a little bit closer, being able to see photos. Because at this point in time, it's a digital age. You always want to see photos, or you might want to have the photo like you took a dope photo, but then somebody else in your family took a dope photo and you like, I don't like how I looked in none of my photos, but I look dope in the one that they had. Already being able to have access to it without having to ask them is kind of dope. So you can already be like, I bet, yep, that one going on the gram. That's going on the gram right there. So that's cool right there what Apple got going. What else they this one, the next thing they have going is a bit it's called safety check. It's safety check. And I mean, honestly, it's an unfortunate situation that you have, but I think it's always dope when you have a company doing something like this. So safety check is a feature for pretty much is for people who need to protect themselves from the ones who are around them. So primarily focused on like people who might be dealing with an abusive relationship. So like if you're around somebody who's kind of, you need to escape and get from around them. But unfortunately for people who are dealing with that, I've seen it firsthand at times. It's a hard situation for them to actually get away from someone who's in that relationship. So what they have is to where you can, from your own device, just automatically and more discreetly take away their access to something. So if you have devices to where that person, whoever's abusing you or whatever the situation, whoever it is that you need to securely check yourself away from, to where you can kind of make sure only you have access to it, or if you're trying to run away from this person, they can't track you. Because it's cool having all the features and the family stuff that you get at times with being able to share your stuff with your family. Like I just talked about the family photo sharing. But at the same time, if the person who you thought you loved and you thought everything was sweet, and now all of a sudden, nah, I don't need to be around you, you bad for me, you dangerous, that same stuff they can use to track. So the fact that they aware enough to make sure they add features to where those same people who may have been enjoying those features can now deactivate them in a secure way and discreet way to where they can escape those dangers that they may be dealing with. So I think that's really dope. Because I mean, like I said, I'm a male. I'm 6'6", so I'm not really in a situation, thankfully, to where I'm dealing with an abusive relationship, and I'm a larger male. So it's not something that I'm typically more prone to dealing with. There are men who do deal with domestic violence and things like that, but I mean it's primarily a female issue. So I don't personally deal with it, but I've seen it, and I think it's always dope to have something to, regardless of what situation is the person who's in an unfair situation. I'm kind of stumbling on my words because I don't know exactly the right way to say it, but pretty much people who are in just in the wrong situations or don't have the power, unfortunately, whatever the reason may be that they don't have the power to be able to do something to where they can just kind of get in a better situation. I think that's always dope. And so that's a pretty cool. Like, to me, that was one of the features that I seen. I don't know if they had already had some features related to it, but to me, I felt like that was something that was really dope that stood out to me, because for a woman or whoever it may be to really just be able to get out of this situation, it's always dope to have something to get you out of it, because the internet is a crazy situation now. So you just got to protect yourself. Let me stop rambling. But that's something that's cool. Apple Home, they updated the app for Apple Home, pretty much built from the ground up. So it's a whole lot more intuitive looking. So that's for like your smartphone, or whether your lights, your thermostat, cameras, whatever you may have in your smart home. I know we have a few of those things in my own home. And looking at the app from the pictures that they had, it looked pretty dope. To me, it kind of reminded me of how Google Home app looked, but it looked a lot cleaner, because the Google app's a lot more white based. It's just kind of like the blank screen kind of information, compared to how Apple new Home app has a bit more color, and it just looked a bit more popping to me. So I like what Apple have going on with it. It's like a pretty dope app. Like I said, my girl used Apple. She's an iPhone user. I use Google Pixel phones. So I look forward to her getting the update to kind of really get a chance to see how the actual app looks compared to what I'm using on Google for our smart home. Another thing to me that really looked like dope as hell, like I seen, I was like, that looked nice, was Apple CarPlay. Apple CarPlay is really trying to step up their cookies and make it look like, yeah, we really doing this. So the Apple CarPlay, if you know it, most people already know, and I know for a lot of people, even like myself, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, if I get a new car, it gotta come with that. Like, that's almost a default feature, and if it don't come with it, it's like, why would I want to get it? Because it killed me when I deal with people or like see people who care about the map update that come in the car. I'm like, why would I want to pay for maps from whatever company, luxury company? Because I feel like it'd be heavier with luxury companies, but why would I pay you for a map update every year or two that don't get updated every day when Google Map and Apple Map is free and look way better? Come on now. But yeah, so pretty much Apple CarPlay is one of the default ones, and you just plug it in, or if you got the wireless Apple CarPlay, you just get in your vehicle, it just switch on. You got the maps, you got your music, you got your podcast. audio books, whatever you want to have access to, whether you can just easily see it at a glance in your car. And so what Apple is pretty much changing, before Apple CarPlay and Android Auto just took up the infotainment display. So you can, like I say, just your basic information, you can change that. Apple is expecting to, I think next year is when they're actually expecting to start rolling out the update that they announced today. And that's just pretty much the whole infotainment system, your instrument cluster. So that's whether your gas gauges, RPMs, all that information, you can just kind of transform all that into basically being an Apple run device. So I don't know when the Apple car, quote unquote, Apple car is supposed to be coming, but they definitely look like they're making some moves toward that. It reminds me of like what Google got with Android Automotive, but instead of Android Automotive being something that's built into the car, like if you buy a car like the Polestars, I believe they come with the Android Automotive built into it. But the Apple CarPlay look like something that you don't have to buy, but you can just kind of plug your car in and it'll just take over everything. So that was really dope. And like I said, the cool thing about it just changed all your instrument clusters. So you can change your heated seats, cooling seats, temperature, fans, like just so much inside of the vehicle. You pretty much have access to change everything. Basically, Apple just taking over your car. Everything that's electronic wise in it or that you can see in it would just kind of be run through Apple through that. And I mean, and at the same time, for me, one of my biggest things with things like that is it allows you to easily track your information. Because, I mean, it sucks that it's just two companies, basically Apple and Google. But whenever you got a company that you can just get to and they just got all the information right there, it's always easy to like access all my fitness data, all my car data in this one little quick hub. And so that's kind of the thing that you're going to get with the Apple CarPlay. So I think it looked dope. It said like, again, I'm gonna try to run the videos and you like see it, just like all the different changes that they can make to it. To me, as soon as I seen it, I was like, that's dope. Y'all really doing something right there. I see y'all making moves. Android Auto, your play. Let's see what y'all got up next. The fitness app for Apple devices is finally coming off of just being for the for your smartwatch. You don't have to have an Apple Watch anymore. And you can find, they're gonna be updating it to where the fitness app will just be on having an iPhone. So you can just have a regular iPhone or an iPad and you can have access to the fitness app, which to me just always been crazy. Like one of them Apple being Apple kind of things is like, let me convince y'all that you need to, just to track your fitness, you got to buy the watch. So I'm happy that they finally updating that to where you can just access your basic metrics. Because pretty much you can't see the fitness information unless you had the Apple Watch. So that's like I say, that's something that's minor. But to me, at the same time, it's cool to be able to have an easier access to it. Because before, I think all they had was like your health, where you can check and see your heart rate and maybe something like sleeping or so. But you couldn't check like what your running stats and everything been like that unless you had the Apple Watch connected to your phone. So that's dope as hell. With that, with the fitness information, they also have a sleep studies that they're doing because they're trying to do a lot of things to be able to track people who have like different issues, kind of up and down, whether their heart rates and sleeping. One thing that was funny to me, they was talking about how they have a sleep study and like you can kind of like pretty much sign into it and you can add to it if you want to participate and add to the information. And it just be crazy how companies kind of make it seem like, oh yeah, you can kind of get signed up with us, but it's like, and this will kind of benefit you, but it's like, but you need my data. Like you need me to present this data. You like this ain't just for free and for fun. I ain't just helping something out for cool shit. You need this data to better make your shit going. But I mean, that's how I go. That's just me ranting on some exchange shit. Staying on the fitness vibes and things like that, or more like the health side of it, medication. They added the ability to pretty much just directly from in-app, you can add and track your medications, and it'll also like let you know if you got like if you taking. I don't take any medications like that, thankfully. But if you have like any medications that may counteract each other or anything that may have alcohol or something like that, to where you shouldn't take it, just things that to kind of make sure you're aware of whatever medication you have. Because sometimes you reading the label and you might forget, or you just kind of get used to it and just automatically know what you're supposed to do with them. So you can add it in now. You can add trackers to it. If you got like a family member, you can request to have them send their medication information to you. So that way, if you might have like an older parent or something like that, or a grandparent, you can have them send their information to you. That way you can kind of let them, like, if you go into them and going to check on them, make sure that they taking their medication like they need to. you can just kind of easily see that right there. Or even if you got a child who might be having medication, you can have their records and you can kind of easier keep track of if your child actually been taking the medication that they supposed to, matching up to what the Apple information has on it. So for me, that's a big step. I feel like that's great for the medication. Anything that's actually, like, tech is always dope, but if you have something that's actually making life, like real life, better, to me, that's always even dope because, like I said, the computer part is cool, but the interaction between person to person, living life longer, better life, to me, that's the real dope part right there. So salute to Apple on that. Now, taking the shift to something that was expected and, of course, Apple dropped their new computer chips, silicon, the M2, which to me, they made a lot of noise about it. You know, of course, you got an M2 chip coming out, so you can make a lot of information about it. But the thing is, with it not being that top end chip, just kind of like a push forward, it was like, it didn't feel like the same kind of splash you got when you got the first M1 announcement, which, I mean, of course, but it did seem pretty cool. Like, obviously, it's a better chip than the one they had before. So you got like an M1, the MacBook Air, which they say is the #1 selling laptop worldwide regardless, which, I mean, no brainer. It's an Apple laptop. Is Apple gonna sell regardless, and shit, it's the cheapest one they got. And I mean, with the M1 lineup, is really worth it. Like, the amount of stuff you can do with that, unless you really like doing professional level stuff, the MacBook Air is probably what most people should have. So it's the #1 selling laptop for a reason. They done kind of added it. You got the little notch on it, just like how you have on your MacBook Pro with the M1 Pro. M1 Pro and the M1 Max. So it has the little notch at the top on there for the MacBook Air. They also announced that the M2 chip gonna be going in the MacBook Pro 13-inch. And it was cool, obviously, because it's not really that much of a difference. And you also already got the MacBook Pro, I think the 14 and 16 inches that have the Pro and Max. There's no real point in overly emphasizing what the M2 can do, because even though it's, shit, I'm finna fuck around and confuse myself. M1, M2s, but the Pro version is still gonna be higher. What's stupid crazy to me is that Apple still got the touch bar in the MacBook Pro 13-inch with the M2. And to me, that really just, I feel like the only reason that's like that is they just still have leftover hardware, and it's like, hey, look, we gonna put this in somewhere. We got to get rid of this product. And I feel like they just putting that shit in there until they done with it. So I feel like that's the only reason they included that touch bar. They ain't say anything about it, make no mention of it. They got rid of it on the other devices. So the only reason it's on there is because that's the in-between MacBook Pro version right there. I know people who, like, so I feel like that's something you might want to watch out for if you're thinking about getting the MacBook Pro 13-inch with M2, is that it's going to have that touch bar. You're not going to have your regular function keys. Also, with the Mac, they introduced macOS. Name is Ventura, which is, I think, like a city in Cali, in the LA area. They also, with that, introduced Spotlight, which to me, the biggest thing with Spotlight that it kind of like really came to my mind was seeing when they had it on the iPhones, which is basically kind of look like the search bar that Google have on Androids at the bottom. It just looked like now you got it on there, so you can kind of just easily look it up. So you got a search bar at the bottom, because before having to go all the way to the top or swipe to the side just to get to your search bar, like a bit more work. So I think that was cool that they added it. Like I say, small stuff. Another thing that they have is passkeys, which is a standard that looks like Apple, Google, Microsoft. They trying to push for that, to where less using passwords and more like just your device, use like your smartphone or something like that, that's secure already and can kind of stop against cyber attacks. Because a lot of people, old folks, or people who just ain't paying attention, or shit, just people who don't know what they looking at, you know, you can kind of like easily get finessed into somebody stealing your password. I know I hate calling in the companies and then they ask me for my social security company, my social security number, even though I know I didn't call the company and you my bank. It's just like in my mind, I'm like, I really don't want to give you my social security number. You ain't got no other way to verify who I am. I don't think you need that information. I think you'll be straight without that. I don't think we need to give you that. That's really how I be feeling. So I think that's cool that they changed it to where you're not gonna have to do that. You can just pretty much, your biometrics that you signing in, whether it's Face ID or Touch ID, unlocking it, that'll pretty much set up the pass key to log you into whatever website or whatever company, to where your phone is pretty much all you need to get into it. And if you don't have your phone, somebody can't phish and steal your information and log into it and steal all your secure information. So that's pretty dope. And that's supposed to be something that's going to be announced. Like I say, other places supposed to have that. So like Google going to have that kind of thing. Microsoft. I don't know how many other companies going to apply with that have biometric kind of information for you. But those are some of the ones that's like got announced. And that was announced like a little while back with them. It seemed like Apple just the first one to kind of make an announcement with it. A cool ass thing I seen that they did was like to where you can have like your phone on the back of your laptop, and they got it to where, you know, Apple, all that shit like mad connected, smooth like butter, and to where you can kind of just prop your little device on the back of it and it can automatically turn into your webcam. You know, webcam cameras tend to be a little trash, and like the Apple Studio display that they recently announced was supposed to be hyped up like, oh, it's an amazing looking camera, trash, which is really kind of disappointing. It's like, you telling me this $1,000 phone can have this great camera, but this $2,000 laptop or this $1,500 display can't have a good camera in it. What y'all doing? So it's dope that they have it to where you can just put your phone on the back of it and you can turn that into your webcam. You can use a different camera angles to get a lot of different stuff. Like I said, if you see the video on it, it's a lot of cool shit that they had with it. So I feel like that's real dope, and I look forward to kind of seeing that. I don't see myself wanting to do that because I don't overly take a crazy amount of video calls, but I know with people still working remotely, having a better looking camera would definitely be something that kind of boost it up, because I know a lot of times when I do take video calls, a lot of people, whether it's myself, because I got like my video camera, I use this Microsoft Surface laptop. It's all right. And I know sometimes the people I'm video chatting with, their camera be looking all right. So it's cool to have like a high quality actual camera on the back of there for that. And the last thing that really just stuck out to me from the WWDC was iPads finally getting more of a real multitasking feature to it. So if you somebody who uses an iPad, you kind of know it's a powerful device because they got like iPad with M1s in it, which is like super overkill for a tablet. But you got a full powerful ass chip inside of it, but the iPad itself can't really do more. It's like a big ass iPhone. I mean, it's like a big iPhone basically. But now you can have more stuff to where you can have multiple tabs open, different things, to just kind of make it more like a computer, which is a reason why I feel like people get a tablet. You get an iPad so that you can not have to carry around a bigger laptop. You want it to almost be a laptop, but not quite. So they added a couple more features to make it more like that. And so that's cool. It's a lot more things that Apple announced, but I mean, obviously I ran down a decent little list right there, but those are the ones that stuck out to me the most from the WWDC. So if it's anything that y'all noticed at WWDC or anything that you've seen Apple announce or something that you wish Apple would have announced, like I said again, man, drop it in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about it. If some of my takes on some of the stuff ain't something you vibing with, let me know, because I really want to know what y'all thinking. I want to know what y'all feeling like. So off that, we finna go ahead and get past that to Elon Musk. Elon Musk, like I say, it's something like I feel like every episode I'm gonna have something to say with Elon pretty much until this Twitter deal get gone. But it seemed like it's kind of been a little bit of pushback between him and his lawyers with Twitter on the case of them having not gave him not giving him the information about how many bots it is there are actually on Twitter, which it seemed like it might be way more than you expect. So that's just something that he's threatening to possibly back out of the deal for Twitter. Ain't no telling. I feel like that's just gonna play how it play. It's just gonna be a whole bunch of Elon Musk stuff. Like bro finna stay in the news like for real for the next little while. So that's what's going on with Elon Musk. Like I said, I got a couple of little quick hits I'm gonna hit y'all with, because pretty much this episode, tech-wise, WWDC finna dominate it. Some of the other stuff I planned on talking with y'all about, I'm just gonna have to wait for next week because just too much Apple news going on right now. A couple of light things. YouTube announced like a connection to where if you're using it from the TV app, like I personally, I'm a person who use YouTube from the TV. Like I don't really watch YouTube on my phone. I'm not a phone watching type person. I kind of watch it from my laptop if I'm really in a position where I need to. But if I'm casually wanting to watch some YouTube videos, I'll like post up and like pop it on the TV. So I'm a YouTube video from the TV. And YouTube or Google announced that TVs are the fastest growing area for watching YouTube. So I definitely get that. But one of the things with it that normally if you're watching YouTube from the TV, if you know as a YouTube TV watcher, you can't really comment, you can't really interact with it as much. You can like the video and that's really about it. You can like or dislike the video, but it ain't really or subscribe, and you got to even click more buttons to do that. to do that. So what they've added is to where you can kind of watch YouTube from the TV, but using your phone, you can do little things that interact with it to where it's still going through normal, but you can interact with the video you haven't just from your phone without interrupting the TV. So I feel like that's dope because it's too much work. And to me, YouTube on TV is the best way to have it. A lot of people who produce content, producing 4K content. And I mean, I get phone screens watching 4K, but man, I want to watch 4K on my big 4K TV that I spent money on. So I feel like that's good that they making those kind of little things. Another thing on the safety kind of side, kind of like what Apple had with the safety check, Instagram is implementing Amber Alerts to where on the actual, like on your news feed, it's not going to really pop up like like how sometimes you get a text message if something happened. But one of the things is, I know like for me personally, I've never reported or noticed anything based on the Amber Alert text message because it's just a bunch of words and like it don't really connect to you as well. So what Instagram will have is like you might be scrolling through your feed. If enough of the markers or whatever it is check off for you, like if you in the area, your location turned on, you might see a poster for somebody who's has an Amber Alert out for them, so you can actually see who the victim is, which to me is a whole lot better than just saying like someone who's around this age or look like this, like visually seeing the clothes, seeing the face. That'll really help. I expect it to really help with like kind of having like missing persons. A lot of people who have those Amber Alerts to get out, a lot of them yield a lot better results. So I think that's something that's dope. I did not know that Facebook had that, and they've had it since 2015, but I'm also not on Facebook too crazy. So, but that's something cool coming from Meta. More Google News, RCS. This ain't really an American kind of thing, but just something that I noticed, and I felt like it was just kind of worth speaking about. Google RCS, they trying to make that to be pretty much is like iMessages for Android. But with that, in India, they had like an issue with it. So with the RCS, you can just kind of send a message out to anybody. If you're a business, you can kind of send out business verified messages. But in a place like India, which I mean, obviously is developing still. I mean, it's developed, but you having like other areas that might be more developing, like janky type of ass businesses, to where they just start flash flooding goddamn people with just messages, to where Google had to turn it off where businesses can't even send RCS messages over there. So that's just something that's just wild. Like, man, people be wild. You give people too much power, they gonna act out on your ass. More Google News, Google Duo, which is the video chat app, and Google Meet, which is another video chat app, but that's more of the main screen one. They plan to combine those two together. So that's just something you'll kind of see over time. You probably gonna have to do a lot for it. They just gonna update the apps. But as a person who uses Google Duo on the regular, I think that's something dope. Because I hate when companies have two services that do the exact same thing coming from the same company. That's just dumb as hell to me. So I think that's good. And lastly, Google News. They had a Pixel 7 Pro leak. What else is new? Google can't hold water. I'm not really gonna speak into that too much. It was just another Pixel Pro leak, and the person who bought the device, I think they might have bought it on eBay. They the phone wound up getting bricked, so Google probably just remotely wiped the device. Ain't that something I said I ain't gonna speak on it no more? Then start speaking on it some more. Motherfuckers just be lying. But enough of that tech shit, man. Let's go ahead and get into coaching. Let's talk about what's going on right now in culture. NBA Finals, like I was talking about earlier, in full swing. You got the Warriors and the Celtics going at it. Right now, series tied up. We got 1-1. I'm neither one of them not my team. Like, I'm not a bandwagon person. So look, I'm pulling for the Hornets just in case y'all see it on a future episode and you like, you ain't been rocking with the Hornets. Like, hey, look, when Melo get us up there doing something, I don't want y'all talking about he acting brand new. Just know, look, I've been a Hornets fan. I've been a Charlotte fan since they was the Bobcats. So just know that I don't want to hear none of that. Hey, look, this been the team I've been rocking with. Charlotte Bobcats, Charlotte Hornets. That's the team I'm rocking with. So just already know that. But when it comes to these games, hey, look, man, I do like Steph Curry, so I like to see them win. Obviously, they got a bunch of championships already, but that's a team that if I had to pull for one, I like to see the Warriors come out on top of this. Right now, like I said, series tied up 1-1. Celtics took their first one. Warriors came back, did the same thing. Man, like I said, it's looking like a good ass series. I haven't got a chance to watch too much this past weekend when the final started. Had a lot of stuff going on. Shit, just this past weekend had a wedding I had to head to, so it's been pretty crazy for me. But one thing I felt like was super, super dope that they did is that on both sides of it, they came in wearing those orange end gun violence shirts. And I mean, just with the times, it's really just such a big ass thing because I mean, it's a game that everybody paying attention to, and you want to enjoy and have fun. But the reality is, in certain parts of the world, certain parts of the country, it's a lot of people who dying right now. A lot of issues going on, and even though you want to enjoy it and have fun, hey, enjoy the game. But be aware, it's a lot of stuff going on, and if you had a voice to speak up about it, I feel like it's dope. Like seeing the Steve Kerr thing that he had, where he kind of had his big moment of kind of just saying, hey, look, legislation needs to do things to make sure guns is available to just anybody out here. And I feel like it's great, and it's what needs to be happening. I love seeing people speaking about it, because to me, I mean, it's summertime, so obviously it's summertime, pandemic loosening up, people outside doing a whole lot more, so we're having a whole lot more unfortunate gun violence going on throughout our country, and honestly throughout the world, because I done seen a couple things. Like obviously we had the shooting in Buffalo, the one in Uvalde. I done seen some things at I want to say it was Xavier University in New Orleans. We had the Tulsa shooting at the hospital. I seen something that was, I think in Nigeria, it was at a church, I want to believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But just like all those things, and this is like within May. This is like May, early June. Like this is a very short time period where you done had a lot of like mass killings. And I mean, it's obvious, it's always something going on, gun violence in some area, some kind of crime. But just the amount of gun violence is going on, and just in the areas that it's happening in, this isn't like even people who are, because a lot of times it don't even seem like people who directly related. This is like more hate crime or just some type of, I generally don't like these people, so I'm going to come at them. So to me, just any of those situations where it's just like super unnecessary gun violence, I think it's great that people speaking up about it. Man, just be safe out here. Look, it's like I said, it's summertime. I know you want to get out, enjoy yourself, but man, be safe, watch your surroundings. You just never know what's going on. If you can, try not to be dolo. Look, man, I know some people even like myself. I like having my own time, my own space. But look, man, if you stepping out, try to make sure you stepping out with somebody around you to where you got some type of safety measure, somebody watching your six, and just man, be easy out here. Like it's crazy, so y'all just try to be safe, man, for real. On some lighter news, MTV Awards just happened. I don't really be checking for it too much like that, but I did see some of the announcements. One thing that stood out to me, Zendaya out here killing it doing her little thing, you heard me? So she took home what best movie, she part of best movie, best show, one of the best actresses in shows. Like Zendaya killing it, man. And shawty dope as hell. Like she diverse as shit. Excuse me. Like just her acting from like the drama to like comedy side, just like whatever she doing, shawty like super dope. So I feel like it's well deserved in what she's getting. Like whether it's, cause if you look at like a movie, like the movie she got it for Spider-Man No Way Home, and then you look at Euphoria, the TV show she doing, like that's a whole different actress, you know what I mean? But the same chick doing it, so she really, matter of fact, I'm sorry, I hate like chick and like woman words like that. That same woman is out here delivering dope ass acting. So I feel like she really killing it just in general. Like I don't care gender wise regardless. Like Zendaya is somebody in the thespian world who just killing it in general. So like man, definitely give shot at her flowers for real. Another thing that stood out to me was the fact that Daniel Radcliffe won Best Villain for his role in Lost City, which I mean I haven't even seen the movie, but to me it's just always crazy like knowing Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, superhero, everybody, well, not hero like that, but not superhero, but everybody's favorite guy or whatever. And then him growing up and like doing all the stuff he doing, which I mean, I like his acting outside of Harry Potter as well, but it's just crazy to imagine him being the villain in the movie and even being the best villain. So that's just wild. So yeah, man, there was a lot of stuff, a lot of dope things that happened. Like I say, MTV Awards ain't, shit, just award shows in general ain't mine. I ain't really paying too much attention to them, but it's always dope just seeing companies doing stuff staying on the vibe, MTV Music Awards or just MTV Awards for everything, we finna get to talking about this goddamn jams and joints. Get the music rolling in this bit. It's jams. And I'm gonna get it together. I'm gonna know how to introduce this 1 week for y'all, and it sounds smooth. Like you wouldn't even know that I'm a rapper. How I be coming in bad with this, but hey, look, man, it is what it is. I might drop some bars for y'all soon, just to let y'all know I really be coming with them bars. You hear me? But man, jam and joint this week is "Poppin' My Collar" by 3-6 Mafia, cause ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my, yeah, what you know about it? But for real, man, that's that vibe right there. You already know every now and again I gotta take it back some, man, and that's one of them joints right there. I don't know how, like I say, again, I'm Southern for real. I'm from Louisiana, staying out here in Houston, so you know I'm gonna be on them kind of vibes, like Southern vibes. That's always my energy, man, for real. And so 3-6 Mafia, that's one of them ones right there. And that popping my collar, man, 3-6 Mafia, sipping on some scissor, all that, bro. You can run through it on some 3-6 around here. But like, so that's some of the ones right there. And the reason I wound up picking that one is because, again, past weekend, like I say, been busy. Had went to like a little event. Girl took me on a little date or whatever, you heard me? And we went out to Have a Nice Day, which is in the Houston area. You should definitely check them out. They're an organization that kind of like, pretty much is kind of supporting the AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander community, and like kind of putting on events out there. So you had a lot of vendors from them, and it was at this like what was it? Place called Stages, which is just like a theater, whatever. I didn't get a chance to make it to the plays they had, but like they had some dope vibes out there. They had a whole bunch of cool shit. And like I said, that song got to play, and I was like, "Yep, that's the jam and joint for this week. That's the song we going with right there." So that was definitely a vibe. Something that really sucked for me is that I just finished like a 4-week fast to where I was only eating one real meal a day and like one snack. Is that I went out to this event that's loaded with all these vendors making all this good smelling ass food. And I got to look at them like, I can't have that. I can't have that. I can't have that. You know, like when you be at places like that, they trying to sell you the stuff like, oh yeah, you ought to come up. Nah, I'm sorry. I'm fasting. I can't even. But I'm through with my fast. So just know I'm finna be smashing some food. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep, I am going to be eating. But, you know, hey, look, man, that fast, like my fast was more a spiritual fast, but it slimmed my body down a little bit. So I think I'm gonna try to hold on to it a little bit longer. So try to be a little bit more conscious with what I'm putting in my body, man. And man, as anybody should, like, I'm Christian, so like something that I recently checked out or that recently happened this past week. If you might be interested into it, Transformation Church, they had a dope message that went out, and it was all about like being cuffed to cake, which is just about gluttony. And I feel like that's dope, like especially like me finishing a fast, kind of like, hey, look, man, don't fall out from your fast and just get to eating wild. And so I feel like that was real dope. If you ain't never checked it out, you ain't never looked into it, like I said, Transformation Church, they got YouTube videos, they on Instagram and all that stuff. Pastor Mike Ty, I know he had a good and bad like news stuff, but I'm still rocking with it. That's the service that I tend to check out most of the time right now. And if you, whether you Christian or even if you want to just kind of get some good information in your life, I feel like it'd be something dope to check out. If you don't find yourself connecting to any spirituality or religious belief or anything like that, man. Look, I ain't trying to push you no way. Well, nah, I ain't gonna lie to you. I am kind of trying to push you to a Christian. But look, respect to you, whatever your beliefs are. Last thing, again, man, look, if y'all can, look, tag Just Water. Let them know we trying to get this brand sponsorship. But in general, I'm still going to be sipping on this damn water because it's be hitting. And it's good for the environment, you hear me? And it's minority owned. So that sounds like a whole lot of things that I want to support and I'm going to support. On that note, I really ain't got too much more to talk to y'all about. I ain't got too much more to run it. I've been running my motherfucking mouth. I hope y'all been fucking with me. Y'all already know, look, man, it's your boy L. I appreciate everybody who listens to this podcast. Look, man, if you listening to it, watching it, be sure, if it's on Spotify, Apple, wherever you can, leave a review, 5 stars, just anything that you can say or share. I appreciate everything that you can. If you got any questions, any thoughts you want to hit me with, man, look, my DM's open. You can always message me, drop a comment on anything, YouTube video, whatever it may be. Like, comment, and subscribe. All them stuff that people be saying in the videos, you hear me? Like I say, pretty much just rock with me, man. You can find me personally on all social media at AO Forever. That's just AEO Forever. And you can find the podcast for the most part at Stick to the Code Pod. So just stick to the code POD. And look, man, it just is what it is. That's another episode. You hear me? Whole lot of Apple stuff, whole lot of Apple talk. Let me know what y'all favorite device or announcement that I talked about from the Apple event that happened. Other than that, look, man, I already know, man, whether it's talking tech or whether we kicking culture, look, whatever your realm is, man, look, everybody got a different code. Just make sure whatever your code is, you sticking to it. It's a Stick to the Code podcast. I'm out. Y'all be easy.